The galaxy had already decided their fate. Far from the bright core worlds, near the edge of known space, a small alien species lived in silence. Their worlds were not rich. Their ships were slow. Their cities were simple and old. They did not build massive fleets or powerful weapons. They believed in balance, trade, and peace. To the great empires of the galaxy, they were nothing. They were listed in records as minor, low influence. Non-threatening, no empire feared them. No council needed them. When the warning signs appeared, no one rushed to help. At first, it was just strange readings. Stars flickered where they should not. Radiation levels rose in empty systems. Long-range sensors showed movement war fleets from distant regions, fleeing something unseen. Then the truth became clear. A massive cosmic disaster was spreading across space. Stars were collapsing in a deadly chain reaction. Radiation storms rolled through systems like waves. Old war fleets, left over from forgotten wars, drifted without control, smashing into anything in their path. Entire regions of space were becoming unlivable. Panic spread across the galaxy. Emergency meetings were called. Evacuation plans were activated. Gates were opened for the powerful and the important. The Galactic Council gathered in its great chamber. Thousands of species watched as glowing maps showed red zones spreading closer. The small alien species appeared on the map, right in the path. A council voice spoke, calm and cold. Resources are limited. We must prioritize. Another voice added, we cannot save everyone. A final decision was made. Evacuate only valuable species. The decision was entered into the official record. The small species was reviewed. One by one, the reasons appeared on the screen: non-strategic, militarily useless. No key technology, not worth the cost. The vote was quick. No protests, no debate, no anger, just silence. Their distress signals were acknowledged and archived, then ignored. When the first evacuation fleets arrived in nearby systems, the aliens felt hope. They sent messages. They offered trade. They offered loyalty. They offered everything they had. No reply came. Borders closed. Trade routes vanished overnight. Gates that had been open for centuries shut down without warning. Patrol ships turned away any vessel trying to escape. Rescue fleets passed nearby close enough to see, but never slowed down. The message was clear without words. You are on your own. On the alien homeworld, the sky began to change. Stars that had guided them for generations dimmed and twisted into strange colors. Blue turned to white. White turned to violent red. The nights grew brighter, not from light, but from radiation burning the upper skies. Their scientists stopped arguing. There was nothing left to calculate. They knew death was coming. Leaders gathered in quiet halls, not to plan war, but to plan endings. Power grids were slowly shut down to save what little energy remained. Cities went dark one by one, like candles blown out. Children were gathered in safe shelters, deep underground. Elders told stories of their history, their art, their mistakes, and their hopes, things no one else had ever cared to learn. Parents held their children longer than usual. No one cried loudly. There was no point. The species did not send final calls for help. Instead, they sent records, messages filled with language, culture, music, and images of their world. Small probes carried these memories into space, launched in every direction, not as a request, as proof that they had existed. The last message ended with a simple line, "We were here." Then the galaxy moved on. News cycles changed. Trade resumed. Empires adjusted borders. The abandoned system was marked in red, then slowly faded from attention. To the galaxy, the matter was settled. But space is vast, and silence does not always mean emptiness. Far away, deep in human-controlled space, long-range sensors picked up something strange. Automated systems flagged the data, then flagged it again. Human ships detected a growing death zone. More importantly, they detected life inside it. Human analysts saw the council decision. They saw the evacuation lists. They saw the note beside the species name. Expendable. No official order was sent. No speech was made. But something happened across human space. Navigation paths changed. Supply routes were altered. Ships that had been traveling away turned around. Not one ship, not a fleet. Everything. Cargo vessels, medical ships, old war cruisers pulled from reserve, civilian transports refitted in hours. From dozens of systems, human ships changed course and began moving toward the same place. Toward the red zone, toward the abandoned system. On the alien homeworld, a final sensor alert activated. Engineers almost ignored it, thinking it was another false echo from dying stars. But the signal was different, clean, ordered, artificial. A long-range scan showed movement, multiple warp signatures, fast, controlled, coming straight toward them. The aliens watched in confusion as unfamiliar ship designs appeared on their screens. Scarred holes, heavy armor, symbols they did not recognize. The number kept increasing. Someone whispered, "The galaxy came back." Another answered, "No, those are not council ships." A final scan confirmed the truth. Huge, human vessels. The aliens did not understand. Humans were not powerful rulers. They were not council leaders. They had nothing to gain here. The galaxy had already abandoned this place. So one question filled every room, every shelter, every silent city. Why would humans go toward a place the galaxy had already abandoned? The alien world did not celebrate when the human ships arrived. There was no cheering, no sudden hope, only confusion. The aliens had learned a hard lesson from the galaxy. Help always came with a price. Human ships entered the system slowly, carefully. They did not rush in with weapons ready. They did not send demands or threats. Their formation was defensive, not aggressive, like a wall placed between danger and something fragile. Sensors showed damage on the human ships. Burn marks. Old repairs. Some holes were mismatched, as if rebuilt many times. These were not parade ships. They were survivors. On the human command ship, silence filled the bridge. Screens showed the spreading radiation storms, the unstable stars, the drifting war fleets, still moving without control. The situation was worse than predicted. A human officer broke the silence. "Admiral, if we stay too long, we may not leave." The admiral did not answer right away. He looked at the screen showing the alien homeworld. Cities dim, power low, atmosphere slowly poisoning itself. "They won't survive without help," he finally said. Another officer asked the question many were thinking. Why us? The council already decided. The admiral turned. His face was tired, lined with years of command. "Because someone once decided the same thing about us. Years ago, when humanity was weaker, their colonies had burned while the galaxy watched. Treaties had failed. Distress calls had gone unanswered. Humanity remembered what it felt like to be judged as not worth the cost. That memory still hurt. A transmission request appeared from the alien surface. The aliens spoke carefully, their voices calm but thin with fear. "You should leave," their leader said. "The system is lost. The galaxy has marked us for death. We will not ask you to die with us." The human admiral listened in silence. Then he replied simply, "We're not here to ask permission." The alien leader hesitated. "You do not understand. No one is coming. Borders are sealed. Fleets will not help you." The admiral nodded. "We know." "Then why are you here?" the alien asked. The answer came without pride or anger. "Because leaving you felt wrong." For the first time in many cycles, the alien leader did not know what to say. Human ships moved closer to the planet. Smaller craft launched immediately, medical vessels, engineering ships, cargo haulers. They worked fast, as if they had practiced this many times before. Temporary shields were deployed in orbit, weak against a full war fleet, but strong enough to block radiation waves for now. Human engineers reinforced failing satellites. Human medics prepared for species they had never treated before. No contracts were signed, no loyalty demanded. The aliens watched in silence as humans worked, but the galaxy noticed too. Automated council monitors flagged the activity. A new alert spread across official channels. Inquired. "Humanity has entered an abandoned death zone." Emergency meetings followed. Some council members laughed. Let them waste resources. Others were angry. "They are breaking evacuation law." A warning was drafted and sent to human space. It was short and cold. "Withdraw immediately. This system is under council abandonment order. Continued presence will result in consequences." The message reached the human admiral. He did not reply. Instead, evacuation began. Human ships descended through dangerous skies, landing near alien cities already half powered down. Radiation burned equipment. Storms ripped at holes. 2 human transports were lost in the first hour. The humans did not stop. Soldiers carried alien children through smoke-filled streets. Medics treated injuries caused by radiation sickness and panic. Engineers taught alien crews how to stabilize failing reactors just long enough to power evacuation lifts. Human losses increased. A cruiser shielding a city took a direct hit from a drifting warship. It shattered, breaking apart in orbit. Escape pods scattered like sparks. Alien observers watched in horror. Those humans died protecting a world that was not theirs. One alien asked quietly, "Why do they keep coming?" No one answered. As evacuation continued, another message arrived from the Council. Stronger this time. Humanity is interfering with galactic stability. Withdraw or face sanctions. Human Command finally responded not to the Council, but to every open channel. A single message broadcast across nearby space. "We are evacuating civilians. Do not interfere." It was not a threat. It was not a threat. It was a statement. Other species listened. Small species. Forgotten ones. Worlds that had survived only by staying quiet. They saw something the galaxy had not expected. Humans were not conquering. They were bleeding. Human ships burned. Human crews died. Yet more ships kept arriving. Supply lines stretched thin. Human worlds felt the cost. Trade slowed. Fuel reserves dropped. Families waited anxiously for ships that might never return. Still, no order came to stop. On the alien world, the last city prepared for evacuation. Only a small group remained behind, leaders and volunteers watching the sky. The alien leader spoke again to the human admiral. "You could still leave," he said. "You have done more than anyone ever has." The admiral shook his head. "If we leave now," he said, "reteach the galaxy that abandonment works." The alien looked up at the human ships forming a shield above the planet. "For us," he said softly, "you have already changed everything." Far beyond the system, new signals began to appear. Ships watching, listening, waiting, and the galaxy slowly began to understand something terrifying. Humanity was not saving them because it was easy. Humanity was saving them because someone had to say no. The humans stayed. That simple choice began to cost them everything. The evacuation moved faster, but danger moved faster still. Radiation storms grew stronger, tearing through space like invisible fire. Shields failed without warning. Navigation systems flickered and died. Human pilots flew by instinct more than instruments. Each hour brought new losses. A medical ship was caught in a radiation surge and went dark. An engineering vessel broke apart while holding a failing orbital station in place. Fighters ran out of fuel protecting slow evacuation transports. Human Command counted the losses in silence. No one said the numbers out loud. On the alien homeworld, fear mixed with something new, guilt. The aliens had accepted death quietly. They had prepared for it. But now they watched humans die in their place, and it broke something inside them. Alien volunteers stepped forward to help. They carried supplies. They guided humans through unfamiliar cities. They stood guard with tools that were never meant to be weapons. One alien asked a human soldier, "Why do you keep fighting the storm?" The soldier answered while lifting a child into a transport, "Because storms don't decide who lives." Above the planet, the human admiral received another council message. This one was no longer calm. "Humanity is violating abandonment law and risking regional collapse. Withdraw immediately or be considered hostile." The admiral stared at the message, then closed it. No reply was sent. Instead, he gave a new order. "All ships, defensive formation. Priority is civilian evacuation. We hold as long as we can." The order spread, and the galaxy listened. Council observers watched in disbelief as human ships stayed inside the death zone longer than predicted. Analysts ran numbers again and again. Humans should have pulled back. Any rational species would have, but humans did not. Then something worse happened. A large alien warfleet, old, damaged, but still deadly, drifted into the system. Its automated weapon systems activated, mistaking everything for an enemy. The fleet opened fire. Human ships rushed forward, placing themselves between the alien world and the incoming fire. Shields flared. Armor cracked. Explosions lit the darkness. A human destroyer took the full blast meant for a city below. It did not survive. On the surface, aliens saw the flash in the sky. They understood what it meant. Human lives were being spent for them. Panic spread through the shelters. "We never asked for this," one alien cried. Their leader answered quietly, "No, but they chose it." The final evacuation window approached. Most of the population was already aboard human transports packed tightly, frightened, silent. Only a few remained behind. Human soldiers volunteered to stay until the last second. Some of them knew they would not make it out. The Admiral watched the countdown timer on his screen. Minutes left. Then the Council acted. A patrol fleet jumped into the outer system. Not to help, to enforce withdrawal. Their message was clear and public. Human forces are ordered to retreat. This operation is illegal. Human ships did not turn back. The patrol fleet moved closer. Tension spread across open channels. Other species watched in silence. Some hoped the humans would finally retreat. Others feared what would happen if they didn't. The patrol commander sent a final warning. "Stand down, or we will intervene." The human admiral opened a channel. His voice was steady. "We are evacuating civilians. If you interfere, you will be firing on unarmed transports." The patrol commander hesitated. This was not how the galaxy worked. Laws existed to protect order, not people. Behind the patrol fleet, dozens of small signals appeared. Unregistered ships, old designs, hidden transponders, civilian vessels refitted with armor, species that were never invited to council meetings, species that remembered abandonment. They did not fire. They did not speak. They simply appeared. The patrol fleet stopped advancing. The final evacuation transport lifted off from the alien world. The last human soldiers ran aboard as radiation levels spiked. A human pilot held the ship steady while shielding failed, waiting until every passenger was inside. Then they jumped. The alien homeworld went dark behind them. The system was lost, but the people were saved. As the human fleet pulled back, battered and burning, the galaxy reeled. The council had expected fear. They had expected obedience. Instead, they saw something dangerous. Humanity had crossed a line and survived. On the evacuation ships, aliens sat beside humans. No one spoke much. Grief filled the quiet spaces left by those who did not return. The alien leader approached the human admiral one last time. "You lost so much," he said. "For us." The admiral nodded. "Yes." "Why?" The admiral added, "Yes." "Why?" the alien asked again. This time, the admiral answered differently. "Because if we didn't," he said, "the galaxy would learn that leaving you was acceptable." Outside the ships, more signals followed them, watching, remembering. The galaxy had abandoned one species. Humanity had refused. And now, the galaxy would never forget the cost of that refusal. The galaxy did not react all at once. At first, there was silence. Council channels went quiet. News networks paused their broadcasts. Analysts stared at reports that did not make sense. The abandoned species had survived. Humanity had ignored the rules, and the galaxy had failed to stop them. This had never happened before. The evacuation fleet moved slowly through space, damaged but alive. Human ships carried scars across their hulls. Some vessels had entire sections missing. Others were running on emergency power only. Inside, the rescued aliens were placed wherever there was space. Cargo bays became shelters. Medical rooms overflowed. Humans shared water, food, and warmth without complaint. No one treated the aliens as guests. They were treated as people. The alien leader walked through a human ship, watching quietly. He saw human children giving up beds for alien elders. He saw human medics collapse from exhaustion after saving lives that were not their own. He realized something then. The galaxy did not understand humans at all. When the fleet reached a safe region of space, Human Command announced temporary settlement plans. No single world could hold everyone, so humanity did what it always did. They spread the burden. Several human systems opened their gates. Old colonies accepted refugees. Half-built stations were rushed to completion. Even worlds with little space offered something: air, water, safety. The aliens expected conditions. They expected conditions. They expected control. None came. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council finally spoke. An emergency session was called. Anger filled the chamber. Humanity endangered regional stability. They violated evacuation law. They interfered with council authority. Some demanded punishment. Others warned of consequences. But one fact refused to go away. The abandoned species was alive. Council analysts reviewed the data again. They replayed battle footage. They counted human losses. They calculated cost versus gain. The numbers were wrong. Humanity had gained nothing. No territory, no technology, no political power, only casualties. That scared the Council more than rebellion. Across the galaxy, small species watched closely. Species that had learned to stay quiet. Species that survived by obeying. Species that had been marked low priority more than once. They began to whisper. Private channels lit up with questions. Would humans come for us? Would they stay? Would they leave? Some tested the idea. A distant mining colony, attacked by pirates, sent a quiet distress signal, not to the Council, but toward human space. Human patrol ships arrived within days. No speeches, no demands, just help. Another world, suffering from a failing star, requested evacuation support. The Council delayed approval, debating costs. Human engineers arrived before the vote ended. The galaxy began to notice a pattern. Humans responded faster when there was no profit. That made no sense. Council power had always rested on control, who deserved saving and who did not. Humanity broke that rule every time they helped without asking permission. The abandoned species settled into their new worlds. They learned human languages. Humans learned theirs. Cultural centers formed. Shared schools opened. They told their story to anyone who would listen. We were marked expendable, they said. We were left to die. Humans refused. The story spread. And with it, something dangerous grew. Trust. The Council tried to regain control. New laws were proposed. Restrictions on human movement. Limits on rescue operations. Human representatives attended the meetings, listened, and voted against every restriction. One council member asked, "Why do you challenge order?" The human answer was calm. Because order without mercy is just fear. That sentence was recorded. It spread faster than any fleet. Soon, non-aligned species began reaching out to humanity directly. Not for war, not for alliance, for assurance. If something happens, they asked, will you come? Human diplomats never promised victory. They promised effort. We will try. That was enough. The galaxy had never been united by kindness before. It did not know how to stop it. Some empires reacted with force. A powerful coalition declared humanity irresponsible. They began building fleets, claiming humans were destabilizing the balance of power. But even inside those empires, cracks formed. Soldiers asked questions. Citizens watched human rescues. Officials wondered what would happen if their own world was marked not worth the cost. Fear shifted, not fear of humanity, fear of being abandoned. The human admiral from the evacuation was called before a council inquiry. You disobeyed lawful orders, the council accused. The admiral stood alone, injured, tired, but calm. Yes, he said. Why? The council demanded. Because your law asked us to look away, he answered. And we chose not to, the chamber erupted. But outside the council halls, something had already changed. Human ships were no longer alone when they moved. Unmarked vessels followed them. Old allies, former slaves, ignored worlds they began to fly together. Not under one flag, under one idea. The galaxy had believed compassion was weakness. Now it began to understand the truth. Compassion creates loyalty, and loyalty cannot be controlled. The abandoned species watched all of this with quiet awe. They had been left to die. Now their survival was shaking the galaxy. Their leader spoke to his people one night. We thought we were forgotten, he said, but we were remembered by those who knew what forgetting feels like. He looked toward human space. The galaxy abandoned us, he said. Humanity did not. And somewhere deep in council space, analysts reached a final, terrifying conclusion. Humanity was not trying to rule the galaxy. They were changing it. The galaxy finally chose force. For many cycles, the council had argued. Some wanted peace. Some wanted control. But fear always wins when power feels threatened. Humanity had broken the rules. They had shown the galaxy that council decisions could be ignored and survived, that could not be allowed. A coalition fleet was formed. It was not called a war fleet. The council used softer words. Stability Enforcement Force. But everyone knew what it was. Hundreds of ships gathered near the borders of human space. Ancient battleships, new carriers, automated weapon platforms designed to end resistance quickly. The council released a public statement. Humanity has endangered galactic order. They will be corrected. Across the galaxy, species watched in silence. Some felt relief. Some felt fear. Some felt shame. Human space detected the fleet early. There was no panic. Human command did not rush civilians into shelters or call emergency broadcasts. Instead, they did something strange. They sent messages, not threats, messages. Human diplomats contacted every species that had ever been ignored, every world that had waited too long for help, every civilization that had survived by staying quiet. The message was simple. We are not asking you to fight for us. We are asking you to remember what you saw. Then humanity prepared. Defenses activated. Old ships were rearmed. Civilian yards worked day and night. Human soldiers trained with calm focus, knowing they were outnumbered. The abandoned species watched from their new homes, fear heavy in their hearts. They asked the human admiral, "Is this our fault?" The admiral shook his head. "No," he said. "This is the galaxy showing its true face." The coalition fleet advanced. Council commanders expected fear. They expected humanity to retreat, to beg, to negotiate. Instead, human ships formed a single defensive line. They did not fire. They waited. The coalition commander opened a channel. "Humanity," he announced, "you will stand down. Your actions have destabilized the galaxy." The human admiral responded calmly. "We saved lives. You broke the law." "Your law," the admiral replied, "decided who deserved to live." The channel closed. Weapons charged. The galaxy held its breath. Then, something unexpected happened. New signals appeared. At first, just a few. Small ships jumping into the outer edges of the battlefield. Old hulls. Civilian transports reinforced with scrap armor. Mining vessels refitted with weapons never meant for war. The coalition commanders laughed. "Insignificant," one said. Then more arrived. And more. Ships from species with no fleets. Worlds with no council seats. Civilizations that had never stood openly against power. They did not form perfect formations. They formed around humanity, a shield made of loyalty, not treaties. The coalition fleet hesitated. "This is unauthorized," a commander barked. A reply came not from humans, but from a small alien vessel. "We were abandoned once," the voice said. Humans came. Another signal joined. "We were marked expendable." Humans refused. Another. "They saved our children." They stayed. They bled. The abandoned species sent their message last. "When the galaxy left us to die," their leader said, "humanity stood with us. Now we stand with them." The coalition commanders felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. This was not rebellion. This was belief. The council ordered the attack. Weapons fired. Space exploded into light. Human ships took the first hits, holding formation. Allied ships moved instinctively, covering gaps, sacrificing themselves without being ordered. This was chaos, but it was chosen chaos. The coalition fleet was larger, stronger, better armed, but it was alone. As the battle raged, council commanders realized the truth too late. Their fleets fought because they were ordered to. Humanity's allies fought because they were ordered to. Humanity's allies fought because they wanted to. Humanity did not dominate the battlefield. They endured it. They protected evacuation lanes. They shielded weaker ships. They refused to break formation even as losses mounted. The abandoned species watched the battle from safe distance, tears filling their eyes. Once the galaxy had judged them worthless. Now their survival had inspired a movement. The coalition fleet began to fracture. Some ships pulled back, refusing orders. Others shut down weapons, unwilling to fire on civilians standing beside humanity. Council authority cracked. The human admiral saw the shift and gave one final order. "All ships," he said, "hold the line, do not pursue." That command confused everyone. Victory was close. Why stop? Because humanity did not want conquest. They wanted a lesson to be learned. The coalition fleet retreated, not destroyed, broken. The council chamber fell silent as reports poured in. Humanity had not won by power. They had won by example. And now the galaxy faced a terrible question. How do you control a species that refuses to abandon others and inspires the galaxy to do the same? The abandoned species understood the answer. You don't, you follow them. The war did not end with celebration. There were no victory parades, no songs of conquest, no banners raised over defeated worlds. When the coalition fleet retreated, humanity did not chase them. Human ships stayed in place, guarding the weaker vessels until everyone was safe. Only then did they slowly return to their borders. The galaxy watched, confused. This was not how power was supposed to work. The Galactic Council called one last emergency session. The chamber was full, but the voices were quiet now. The numbers on the screens told the truth clearly. Humanity had lost ships. Humanity had lost lives. Humanity had gained nothing measurable. And yet, the Council's authority had never been weaker. Species that once obeyed without question now hesitated. Orders were no longer enough. Laws no longer felt absolute. The idea had spread too far. The idea that no one should be left to die just because they were weak. Council members argued late into the cycle. "We must restore order," one said. "If we do not," another warned, "we will lose control forever." But a smaller voice spoke from the back of the chamber. "Maybe control is what broke the galaxy." Silence followed. That statement was never recorded in official minutes, but everyone heard it. In human space, recovery began. Damaged ships returned to docks. Wounded soldiers received care. Families mourned those who did not come back. Human worlds felt the cost of compassion deeply. Food was rationed. Trade slowed. Resources stretched thin. Still, no one spoke of regret. The abandoned species, now no longer abandoned, settled fully among human worlds. They rebuilt their culture with help, not oversight. They were not forced to change. They were not absorbed. They were welcomed. The alien leader visited a human memorial site, standing before names carved into stone, names of humans who had died, saving a world they had never seen before. He bowed his head. "We were taught the galaxy measures worth by strength," he said quietly. "You taught us another way." A human replied, "We learned it the hard way." As cycles passed, something remarkable happened. When disaster struck elsewhere, pirate attacks, failing stars, dying colonies, distress signals changed direction, not toward the Council, toward human space. Humanity could not answer every call. They never claimed they could. Sometimes they arrived too late. Sometimes they failed. But they always tried, and that mattered more than success. Other species began to act the same way. Small fleets formed for rescue, not war. Shared warning networks replaced secret intelligence systems. Worlds once isolated opened channels to help neighbors they barely knew. The galaxy became messier, less controlled, more alive. The Council still existed, but it was no longer feared. Its decisions were debated openly. Species questioned orders that ignored life. Evacuation laws were rewritten, slowly, painfully, but rewritten nonetheless. Humanity did not lead these changes. They inspired them. Years later, historians would struggle to explain it. Humanity did not have the strongest fleet. They did not control the most territory. They did not rule the Council. Yet they reshaped the galaxy. Not by force, by refusal. Refusal to look away. Refusal to accept quiet extinction. Refusal to believe that value must be earned through power. The abandoned species taught this lesson to their children. They told them of the day the stars turned red, of the silence when the galaxy moved on, of the human ships that came anyway. Their stories always ended the same way. When the galaxy abandoned us, they said, humanity refused. And across the stars, a new truth slowly settled into every culture, every fleet, every council hall. Abandonment was no longer safe, because somewhere out there, humans were watching. And if they saw someone left to die, they would come. Not because they were ordered to, not because it was profitable, not because it was easy, but because once, long ago, humanity had been left alone in the dark, and they swore no one else would face it alone again. The galaxy never forgot that moment, the moment humanity chose compassion over comfort and changed everything.